Good afternoon, everybody. 3:30, July 25th. Welcome back to the garage. This is my first real close look at the Raptor Liner. Still happy with it. That texture is, I don't know how well it's standing out for you here, but that texture is about exactly what I wanted. Just a nice mottled look. It almost looks like that wrinkle paint that's on the dashes and stuff. You can see some areas in here. If you can see this kind of ledge here and this kind of seam or whatever you want to call that there, that's where I just kind of went heavy with that stuff. Again, you're not really caring about runs, so that stuff was just gummed up there, and it's still flattened out pretty well. As I sometimes do, I've decided that a second coat is a good idea, and that's what I'm going to do. So I emailed you, Paul, the other day and asked them about putting second coats on and the window for that outside of the normal 60-minute window. So they essentially said you have from 60 minutes to 5 hours to put on a second coat, and if that doesn't work, wait 24 to allow it to cure, and then lightly scuff it, and she used the word lightly scuff it, and then hit it with another coat. No repriming or anything like that was required, not that I would have expected nor done that anyway. And you can do that essentially in perpetuity. It doesn't really matter. She said, weeks, months, even years later, you can recoat. So it sounds like it's pretty easily repairable too. But so what I'm going to do today is try to get that second coat done. The problem that I'm having right now is I got my fancy smancy little thermometer humidity gauge there, and the humidity is about 73%. Raptor Liner recommends something 60% or less. So there is air conditioning in here. I'm going to try to run the air conditioning and see if I can get it down a little bit, at least 65 or so. If I can't do that, then I'll move on to something else for the evening. But that's the goal to today. So I'll start roughing it up and do all that stuff. Obviously, I don't need any humidity requirements for that, and then we'll see how the air conditioning does, if it gets us there or not. So that's the plan for tonight. About 5:30, everything's scuffed up. I just took a red scuff pad, and you can kind of see how it's not as nice and pretty looking, a little bit scuffed up, a little whitish. So I would call that lightly scuffed. And brought the light in here this time so I could see a little bit better. Everything's taped, masked, what have you, ready to paint again. So I'm going to mix up the same way I mixed up before. 500 milliliters, all the same weights and all that. I'm not going to bore you with showing you that stuff again. And I'll show you again after I have completed the second coat. All right, about 7 o'clock, got the second coat on. Was making a rookie mistake, and the vent for the cup, the paint gun cup, was blocked. So I was struggling getting any paint flow. I'd take it out, I'd take the cap off, obviously suck some air in, it'd work. I'd test it on the board, it would work. I'd paint for about 5 or 10 seconds and it would clog up. So obviously a pretty clear sign that I'm drawing a vacuum on the cup, but I couldn't quite see it for at least a couple iterations, so I lost a little bit of time doing that. But I got everything on here and I'm happy with the way it came again. No missed spots that I could see. And I did use a 1-inch chip brush in these corners here, and then underneath the wheel wells and the wheel arches, the same place I was having problems with, the problems with the epoxy. So I got those done, but I'm happy with it. So instead of continuing on and going to do other things, I'm just going to call it a night here. Like I said, it's about 7 o'clock. I do have to work tomorrow, obviously, it being a Wednesday. So come back over here tomorrow and start working on the doors, probably get this guy flipped over and kind of back in the corner, and start looking at getting back on sawhorses and going from there. So I'm going to call it a night and we'll pick it back up tomorrow. I think I forgot to mention this before I started painting. I did run the air conditioner in here for a little while, got it down to about 70 degrees, and even though it says 61% humidity right now, I was running at about 55%, so it did a really good job in here of climate controlling it, and it was pretty quick too, so that's good. Obviously this is only a 20 by 40 in here, so it's not too big, but it's nice to know now for future reference that I can get it climate under. I can get the climate under control pretty quickly, so that's a good thing. This stuff's starting to set up, so I'm not really concerned about the humidity now. I got the doors open to kind of air it out in here, but there you go. 26th July, back to continue work. Gonna get the body out of the way here and give myself some room. Gonna leave it upside down for now. place an order for some rubber grommets to get all the blanking plugs and everything installed while it's still upside down, make it a little easier. This one I had, I just love that look of clean new rubber over a new painted surface. That's just one of my OCD things that I like to see. So I'm going to do the door repairs on the driver's side for that door catch, or the door check strap, whatever that's properly called. Going down that path today. So the more I got into this, the less I thought this was a good idea with the tools that I have on hand. I straightened this one out, obviously, because there's a big tear in it. But I'm afraid that if I don't get these exactly right, that the door's going to be crooked, or it's going to jam up or something and just beat this more. So to avoid that, I'm going to need a finer metal cutting tool, so like my Dremel, which is at home. And I also want to get a check strap itself to and the pins that I have for replacements to be able to line that up before I go messing around with this and messing it up. So I'm just going to continue on other repairs and cleaning this door up. I haven't really touched this one at all, and that's what we'll do. Okay, so it's about 5:30, getting the holes filled in. Got those holes filled in there from the side view mirror, and I found an interesting crack. So right here, you can probably see that big break there. Just, I'm not sure if it's just from use or the window mechanism kind of bolts up there, if I remember correctly. But that's almost like a tear. So anyway, I'm going to clean that up a little bit more and then weld that guy up, and then I got the holes filled on the front, and moving along in that direction. Alright, got that sorted. So that just got that welded up there with no problem, and got the holes filled over here from the back side as well for the side view mirror and the front. So it's about 10 to 6 or so. I'm going to grab a bite to eat real quick and then start working some dents. Alright, well, you can tell I don't know what I'm doing because I'm changing the plan again. What I'm going to do is get these doors stripped of all paint and scuffed up on the inside. The inside paint's not too bad, and get them an epoxy primer. I may do the boot lid too, but I'm not sure on the plan there. But reading a bunch of stuff and everything, and just figuring stuff out, I think I'm going to be better off just getting everything in epoxy. So fix this door, do the weld repairs. I'm going to ask my favorite former about the weld cracks that are around the windows, just to make sure that there's not something else going on there, and welding them up is fine. But then get this paint off of here and get these in epoxy over the next couple days. So that's my plan ahead. Got the driver's side door done for the most part. Like I said, I'm just going to scuff up the inside here. I took the inner top, I guess you could say, down to bare metal, because I'm going to put stuff on top of that. So now I'm going to go on with the passenger side and keep going from there. Alright, about 8 o'clock, calling it a night. Got the doors stripped, but that was about it. I also found a couple little holes on the passenger side door that kind of surprised me. One right there, one right there, a couple down there, I didn't get a real good look in there, but there doesn't look to be a whole lot of damage from the inside or rust, so kind of odd that it would be such an isolated pit, but I punched them through. So, but that's it for tonight. I will be over this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. The rest of the family's on vacation, so I get to stay home and get some extra work done. About the same thing happened last year. Continue on with getting the doors prepped and get them hopefully an epoxy primer and the boot lid in epoxy primer this weekend, if not a little bit more. So we'll see how that goes. So thanks for liking, thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing. The subscriber count has shot up these last couple days, probably because of the Raptor Liner videos and all that kind of stuff. That's a pretty popular topic, obviously. So a little flashy with the color too, so it probably helps there. But I appreciate everybody subscribing to the channel and keeping it going. So I will see you guys soon. Cheers.